Welcome back. Let's go straight over to Los Angeles to talk to the host of Kinsey Schofield Unfiltered, Kinsey Schofield. Hi, Kins.
Hi, Kev. Good to see you.
Always a pleasure. We're very worried on this side of the Atlantic because the old ginger nuts, the dim Duke, Prince Harry, came over here, what was it, 2-3 weeks ago, for this absolutely shambolic, chaotic visit. We didn't know when he was coming. We didn't know whether Meghan and the kids would come. They indeed were secreted into the country, barely noticed. The royals didn't know when he was coming. It was a really, really unbecoming uber mess. It was an absolute mess. He has decided, though, that it was a triumph, that his visit to Britain with Meghan and the kids was an absolute triumph and a brilliant template on which he can base regular future visits. He now says that it was so successful a couple of weeks ago when he came over that he wants to do it every few months. He wants to visit all the time because the last visit was so successful. Well, the truth is, Kinsey, the last visit was an absolute catastrophe. It was a shambles. On what basis would this guy, the dim Duke, Prince Harry, conclude that it was a success, such a success that he wants to come over all the time? People don't want him over here. His family don't want him here. The people of this country don't want him here. He's just in his own world, isn't he, with all this?
The return that raised questions. Prince Harry's relationship with the royal family has entered another complicated chapter. After years away from Britain, Harry now appears to want a more regular connection with the country and the institution he stepped away from. But that raises a difficult question. Can Harry really have one foot inside royal life, while keeping the other outside it? Commentators have questioned whether his recent return was as successful as Harry reportedly viewed it. The visit involved uncertainty over where he would stay, questions surrounding security, and eventually a meeting with King Charles. From the outside, it looked less like a planned royal return, and more like a situation filled with complications, because Harry may want future visits to become more normal. But the palace may not see things the same way. The half-in, half-out problem. For years, one of the biggest questions surrounding Harry and Meghan has been whether they could maintain a connection to the monarchy while living independently. The idea sounds simple. Remain close to the royal family, support selected causes, return for important occasions, and continue building a private career overseas. But the source commentary argues that this arrangement creates a major problem. Royal status carries influence, and influence can become commercially valuable. That is why critics question whether Harry's desire to repair family relationships is completely separate from his professional ambitions. On the other hand, Harry has repeatedly emphasized the importance of his family and his connection with his father. So perhaps the situation is more complicated than either side suggests. Maybe Harry genuinely wants his family back. Maybe he wants a relationship with Britain. Or perhaps he is trying to maintain both his royal identity and independent life. And that may be exactly where the problem begins.
Yeah, I mean, the point is that apart from King Charles, I think King Charles's view is if you bring your grandchildren, I'm happy to see you. But I don't think he's that keen on Harry coming back all the time. And the rest of the royal family, frankly, they can't stand Harry. And they despise Meghan even more. So they don't want them here. They don't want the Sussexes here. They don't want ginger nuts coming over every 2 or 3 months. And the people of this country certainly don't want him here. And I think he's deluding himself once again. He has decided that his last useless, chaotic visit was a triumph, so he can do more of these visits, and in his fevered mind, he will persuade all the members of the royal family round to his way of thinking, and they'll forgive him for everything he's been doing since he went to America, hurling grenades across the Atlantic, calling them racist, calling them awful. He doesn't get it. They're not going to forgive him, so that's not going to work. He's never going to get his half in, half out. I'll come over and I'll open a few libraries, then I'll go back to America to make money out of my royal status. He's never going to get that, but he doesn't quite get it. Whatever he wants, he thinks he can get. He's so entitled, he just won't give up on his impossible dream of mending the bridges between the royal family and him. It's not going to happen, is it?
Well, I mean, if we're to take this man at his word, why would he want to? Why would he want to mend fences with this family? I mean, that my argument is, what's the truth? Are they terrible people that suffer from unconscious bias, and you've been presented to them as a gift from God to teach them a lesson, or is everything hunky dory and you just want your dad back? I think that's like there's a conflicting message here, but also to your point earlier, like wildly delusional and entitled and stubborn. On Friday, they sent the Sussex-approved WhatsApp chat, the itinerary, including engagements that featured Meghan and Harry across London. By Saturday, The Sun had reported that Harry was not going to get the security. He was convinced he was going to get automatic armed guards. So Harry releases a statement saying he doesn't know if he's going to bring Meghan and the kids anymore. He also immediately starts fighting with Buckingham Palace publicly, claiming that they reneged on their offer to allow Harry to stay there, which is not true. Harry had a deadline that he failed to meet. By Saturday, he refuses their invitation. And by Saturday afternoon, he's changed his mind. And the king simply says, well, this is no longer an option for you. You need to respect the deadline that my team gave you, and I don't have the resources to put you up anymore. Then Harry loses the court case and slanders the court, calling it the King's Court, calling it a whitewash, insinuating that things didn't fall into place in his favor because there were bigger entities working behind the scenes to punish him, and that this is not what justice looks like. And yes, in the end, he got a meeting with a 45-minute tea with King Charles. But if you were covering this trip in real time, it was absolute chaos. And we looked at each other and we said, look at this liability. This is exactly why the palace didn't want Harry staying with them, because he is so undisciplined and he's so unpredictable that why would they want that association with him? So for him to say like the template has approved, or is improved and is working is ridiculous to the people that were actually there and lived it in real time.
Yeah, the Buckingham Palace will be full of trepidation of the idea he's going to come across regularly, because we just don't need that. People don't want it, the royal family don't want it, and if you remember last time, as you were just alluding to, he wouldn't even tell the royal family when he was coming, where he intended to stay. They were in a state of total confusion, so they won't want any more of this at all. Now, let's quickly talk about Cookie Queens, their movie about Girl Scouts, a documentary, which is turning into one of the greatest commercial flops in Hollywood history, bringing in a ludicrously low amount of money. I mean, it is just a massive, massive turkey. It really has failed. Now, this, Kinsey, I know this from my time there in Hollywood, you are as successful as your last film. If your last film was a success, you're successful. If your last film was a flop, you're in trouble. Basically, this was their first ever big screen film release, the first film that they've produced onto the big screen. This is their first ever theatrical release. It was a disaster. What should they do now? And the reason I'm asking you this, I'm reading page 6 in the New York Post, and it's got this royal expert quoted in it called Kinsey Schofield, and you're suggesting, and I think you're right, is they need to wind their neck in and not do anything for a while, because this flop, this mega flop, will taint their reputation in Tinseltown for years to come, won't it?
It will, and I also stress that Meghan's trying to be too many things to too many different people at once. And if you are trying to be a podcast host, a lifestyle guru, a chef, celebrity chef, making loose fruit spread, she drones on and on about her calligraphy. She wants to be the world's best mom. If you try to be too many things at once, you lose your authority across the board. So I think that they need to scale back, disappear, if they want to continue to produce things, because there are rumors that they're producing Meet Me at the Lake, The Wedding Date, No Way Out, and the Polo scripted series with Fake Empire. Then have nothing to do with it. Let the pros take control and let people that actually know what they're doing do what they're good at. If they're successful, that's the only way I think that Harry and Meghan can redeem themselves in this town. You have to let the success do the work, the talking for you, versus Harry and Meghan constantly telling us what's to come and how great they are when we don't have the analytics to back that up.
The security dispute. One of the biggest points of tension during Harry's return involved security. According to the source material, there was confusion over arrangements surrounding his visit. Harry had reportedly hoped for stronger security protection, but those expectations did not align with what was ultimately available. The dispute became public, adding another layer of controversy to an already complicated visit. Then came the legal battle surrounding his security arrangements. The outcome intensified the disagreement. For critics, the episode demonstrated why Harry's relationship with the institution remains difficult. For Harry, security has always been presented as a serious concern involving his family's safety. And that difference in perspective matters, because even when both sides want a better relationship, they can still disagree over what that relationship should look like. Yet despite all the tension, Harry still managed to meet his father. And that may be the most significant part of the story. King Charles and the family connection. Harry's meeting with King Charles reportedly lasted around 45 minutes. Whatever happened during that private conversation, the public only knows the broad outline. But the meeting itself matters, because despite years of tension, criticism, and distance, the relationship between father and son has not completely disappeared. The source commentary suggests that Charles may be willing to maintain a connection with Harry, particularly when it involves his grandchildren. But that does not necessarily mean the palace is ready to restore Harry to his former position. There is a huge difference between being welcomed as a son and being welcomed back as a working royal. That distinction may be the key to understanding Harry's future. He may maintain a family relationship. He may visit Britain. He may continue supporting causes close to his heart. But returning to an official royal role could be completely different. And then there is Harry's long-term work. What happens to Harry's royal dream? The source material also raises questions about Harry's professional future. His focus on Invictus, entertainment projects with Meghan, and plans outside Britain all point toward a life very different from traditional royal duty. But one major entertainment setback could force the Sussexes to rethink their strategy. And that may make Harry's royal connection more important than ever. If Hollywood opportunities become harder to secure, does the royal identity become the one thing that still gives Harry global attention? That is the question critics are asking. But perhaps there is another possibility. Harry could stop trying to recreate his old royal position. Instead, he could build something completely different. A life where he remains connected to his family, supports causes he believes in, and accepts that his role within the monarchy has changed permanently.
Where you might be like, yeah, I'm more likely to watch that. I just bought a box off of a little hustler outside of a, pot dispensary. Yeah, I'm going to watch that. That's an interesting, it all just unfolded, unfortunately for the Sussexes, bad timing, not a very engaging topic. I think there were a couple of, pursuits here. I think Meghan liked the idea of a movie with the title Queens in it because she thinks she's one, or she thinks she's been one. I think she loves every opportunity to talk about herself, and that's what she did while promoting this. Well, I was a little Girl Scout. Well, I was a little brownie. And then I also think she's trying to soften her image because she has developed a reputation for being a bully and difficult to collaborate with.
Yeah, indeed. Well, he's going around still banging the Invictus Games drum. Her, as ever, posts seem to have sort of dried up a bit. So what is she doing? What on earth is she up to at the moment? Anything?
Well, I mean, I could tell you what I said to Page Six that they didn't publish, and that's that I think that if there's any hope for what's going on, I think it's the Josh Schwartz and Stephanie Savage you're going to die, but the fake Empire Polo scripted show, because they know what the heck they're doing. They just got approval for the new Alicia Silverstone Clueless remake. They did the OC, they did Gossip Girl. They just did this new show that premiered #1 on Amazon Prime called like Sterling Point. If I were them, I would put all of my energy into making that scripted Polo show happen. Redeem yourself with Netflix.
The real question is whether Harry can accept that compromise. Because a true half-in, half-out royal life may never have been realistic. And if Harry wants a future relationship with the palace, he may have to decide exactly where he stands. Inside, outside, or somewhere in between. What do you think? Should Harry be given a path back into royal life? Or should he accept that his future is now separate from the monarchy? Subscribe to Throne Report for more royal news, palace analysis, and behind-the-scenes royal stories.